Hello everyone. So we're picking up on the significant figures in numbers, and this is just some extra practice. So the last video we left off at part C, picking up with part D. Remember that non-zero digits are always going to be significant, so that 6, 1, and 3 are automatically significant. And the question is, are the zeros? And because the zeros come at the very beginning of the number, those are our leading zeros. And remember, the leading zeros was rule 3, and leading zeros are never significant. So we're not going to count those. And that leaves us with 3 sig figs. Okay. Part E, 7.0, again, the non-zero digit 7, that's significant. And the 0 at the end, if it's at the end, it's a trailing 0. So we're looking at rules 4 and 5. And the question is there a decimal point present? And we do see a decimal in the number. So if we have a decimal point, trailing zeros with a decimal are significant. So we are going to include both of those digits as significant. And that is 2 sig figs. Okay, last number, again, the 1 and the 4, automatically significant. Leading zeros, just like we saw in part D, leading zeros are never significant. And trailing zeros are significant if we see a decimal point. So yes, there is a decimal. So yes, those last 2 zeros are significant. And we're left with 4 sig figs. Okay, so feel free to stop here if you would like. But I will run through a few more examples with you. Given the number, let's determine how many sig figs. So part A, all are non-zero digits. So that's going to be 3 sig figs, and I'll abbreviate that as SF. Part B, we have leading zeros. So leading zeros are not significant. And therefore, we just have the 2 non-zero digits that are significant. Part C, non-zero digits, and the last 0 is a trailing 0 with a decimal. So yes, it's significant, and we have 4 sig figs. And then part D, the non-zero digits are significant, and we have zeros that are sandwiched, which is the captive. The captive zeros are always significant. And then the leading zeros are never significant. Okay, so that gives us 4 sig figs. Part E, we're dealing with trailing zeros. There is no decimal, so they are not significant. And that's 1 sig fig. And 6 atoms, it's the fact that we are counting up a number of objects there, that's infinite sig figs. And just as a last quick example and a reminder, if we had something like 1,000 millimeters equals 1 meter, both the 1,000 and the 1 would be infinite sig figs, because those are exact by definition. That's an equality of 2 units. All right, so I hope all this practice helps. The next videos, we're going to look at sig figs and calculations.